No, you don't. It's cheesy. It's not original.
You're telling me I moved from the soundtrack of Disney's Skate Adventure?
No, the music fits the vibe of the game as well as any skating game in the 2000s. No, the game is just Tony Hawk, but worse. You like the game. You don't like that game. Why are you wearing your glasses while you're sleeping? You need to make a video. You gotta go. You gotta go. No.
Skateboarding. All the cool kids do it. There's nothing cooler than a board on two wheels, chopping it up with the boys, kick flipping, scraping your knees, running home while all your friends laugh at you and you're crying to your mom. It's the best. But do you know what's not cool? Being a human. Oh, ew, yuck. Oh, I love skating. I just hate being a bipedal mammal while doing it. It's just not cool, I'm sorry. And I know you can be Darth Maul in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, but he could pass as a human on a good day, and I'm just not confident that my friends will stop bullying me because of it. Wait a minute, you're telling me there's a video game where I can skate and be a monkey, a toy astronaut, and an orphan? I'm in! Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure, a very long title that's very hard to say over and over again, is a skateboarding video game released in 2003 that was the fatter, louder Christian cousin of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series. We'll get back to that Christian part later. It featured characters from Toy Story, Tarzan, and The Lion King, along with a bunch of real-life children who call themselves the Extreme Skate Crew. The playable human characters in this game are actually real-life kids who entered a contest in 2003 to be casted in the game. And Lil Romeo, a 14-year-old rapper who was signed to his dad's label at the age of 5. I have a very high opinion of this game, and especially the music from all the great memories I had as a kid. So I wanted to ask a friend of mine who loves the game just as much as I do if he feels the same way.
No.
I think that the soundtrack has a lot of good songs, but I mean, like, Disney just put a bunch of songs together and called it a soundtrack. It's not really the soundtrack for Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure, you know?
Brandon, I really need you to... I'm really pulling the ship right now. I need you to get on course with me here.
Do you really want me to lie to these people?
Yeah!
In all seriousness, though, this video game is one of the best video game soundtracks I've ever heard. As long as you go to the menu and turn off Pacific Ghost Party. It's one of the Toy Story, Andy's room specifically. I remember so many of those missions. You had, like, the racing through the, like, domino doors. You have, like, the skate letters, of course. When you skate onto the boat, but then you, like, miss a gap or something and you go into the water, it says, "You're not a fish." And I think one of the most beautiful things about this game, there were no updates ever released for the game. You know, Activision and Disney were so sure of themselves that they had released a perfect product that they never released any updates to be downloaded by the general public, you know, who owned the game. And one of the most magical things about this experience is that it's now universal. You know, you can pick up a copy tomorrow, and it'll be the same as it was on release day. Meanwhile, in the modern day, you have, like, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Terrible game, because they've released, like, 4 patches for it.
Hey, man, like, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Yeah, sure, thanks. About the Venmo payment that you were going to send me.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. Hey, have a good one. So I personally decided to take a look at Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure the other day to answer the question, does it hold up? And I have to say, First I decided to jump into a game called Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, from a series that really inspired Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure and a lot of its gameplay. And I think it's safe to say that I had a lot of fun. Let's go! Then I decided to move on to Disney Skate. While I love the cast of skaters, the Toy Story characters really outshine the rest of them, and you can say the same thing about the levels too. For me, there's no better point in the game than when you first enter Andy's room and you see the whole level in front of you for the first time. The ramps and the loops are super creative, and there's so many secret areas to check out, it just never gets boring. Pizza Planet is another one of my favorite levels where the colors and the different environments really pop, and there's just so much terrain to explore. For a children's skateboarding game, I really love it. Zurg's World is the third Toy Story level, and I used to be obsessed with it as a kid, so I loved going back to it when I played it this time. Zurg is also the best character in the whole entire game. There are no questions asked. Please do not talk to me if you... I just found a lot of the Lion King and Tarzan levels to be lacking in color and variation. You go from Pizza Planet, a level where you can go from the arcade to the diner to the kitchen, and there's multiple levels. And those levels work out perfectly because since you're the size of a toy, it's cool to see all of these regular sized things scaled up. And then you have these other levels that obviously take place in nature, and it just seems like a lot of brown hills and water. It was just really unfortunate to see how much I just wanted to go back to those Toy Story levels after being in Elephant's Graveyard for 3 minutes. One map I do really enjoy though is Hollywood. It's only playable through the human characters, which is slightly disappointing, but I love the change in terrain and size of the map, and I love how you can go to the movie theater and watch one of the 3 movies. Except that they made me watch Tarzan when I wanted to watch Toy Story. Also, the map has some top-notch shameless advertising. The game controls very similarly to the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series, but the characters are a lot bigger, so as a result they take up a lot more of the screen, and because of that it's really hard to see where you're going sometimes. But listen, who cares about the gameplay of the game? The point is, you can skateboard as the wife of a kid whose parents were killed by a leopard, so he was adopted by an ape. Hello? Oh yeah, also the music, the whole point of this video. So the soundtrack to any skate game in the early 2000s is interesting, but this is especially true with Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure. The songs had to be cool skater songs, while also being very family friendly. Playing the game for so many years as a kid, the songs became what I loved about the game so many years later. And now I believe it's my duty to carry on that legacy to the next generation of family-friendly skateboarding video games sponsored by Disney, McDonald's, and Nokia. I want to be on the soundtrack for Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure 2, whenever they decide to make it. I'm sure they'll call me though, you know. In order to pull this off, I need to write a song that encapsulates every song on the Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure soundtrack that makes it so good. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna analyze every song on the soundtrack according to its genre, its tempo, and its lyrics. And by mixing all these things together, I'm sure we can Frankenstein a song that will guarantee us a spot on the next soundtrack. First, the genres. The genres across this album go all over the place, from dance electronic to hip hop and rap. It's kind of a mess. But by taking the genres of each song and seeing which ones are most popular, we can get a good idea of what kind of song we need to make. Most songs fell under about 2 subgenres. If one song was, let's say, pop rock, I'd put 1 point in the pop category and 1 point in the rock category. And then I threw all of that data onto this beautiful pie graph. First off, with 25%, we have rock. Then with 20%, we have pop. And then 15%, we've got punk. Most songs on the Disney Skate soundtrack fall under one of these 3 genres, and it's definitely the defining sound on most skate soundtracks. One song that displays it more than anything is Somewhere on Fullerton by Allister.
Somewhere down on Fullerton, that's a place we used to go to get away from it all. But I'm still trying to figure out why we feel so wrong when we felt so right.
It's a classic punk rock song that fits perfectly into the Disney Skate universe, and it's all about reminiscing on the past and having fun as a kid. A really odd song on this soundtrack is a song called Get a Clue by Simon and Milo.
Wake up, boo new, it's me, it's a Get a Clue. It's there inside of you.
So Simon and Milo are a duo that originated in Canada as an animated pop duo who primarily made animated music videos for their music behind 2 characters looking for love. But after being dropped by their label for having little to no reception in America, Disney's Hollywood Records picked them up and released their music under the name Simon and Milo. Their music stuck out to me like a sore thumb on this soundtrack because either they pitched up the vocalist singing or he just naturally sounds like a distant cousin of SpongeBob. There's also a point on the song when he starts singing in like a slight British accent.
The first one came on a Tuesday afternoon when I first saw you.
That's kind of beside the point though. Alternative metal takes up another 10% of our pie with songs like The Energy by Audiovent and Downfall by Trust Company.
Every now and then I think about you, and it breaks me out of you. And
2 songs really pushing that self-fulfilling message of getting through hard times. Okay, and then another 10% of our song is going to be Christian music, and then the next 10% is going to be...
What?
What's up? What did you just say? Well, if you let me finish, I was just going to say the next 10% of the cake
No, you obviously just skipped past 10% of the soundtrack, and now you're trying to...
Oh my gosh, you just flinched.
Well, of
no,
course
that's
I'm gonna
two.
flinch.
That's
You
two
punched
for
me.
flinching.
Obviously,
yeah,
you come
everyone
after me,
knows
you
if
punch
you get
me, and then I'm
punched,
gonna-
it's 2 for
if you
flinching.
fake
I was
punch
like,
me, I'm gonna
and
flinch.
you're
No,
like,
seriously, stop. Just stop. What part of the soundtrack is Christian?
I kind of just thought that was common knowledge. Everyone knows that 2 out of the 13 songs on the Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure soundtrack are almost exclusively about Jesus. Come on, man, get with the program. One of those songs is Spinnin' Around by Jump 5. Jump 5 is a Christian dance pop group consisting of 5 Jesus-loving teenagers from the early 2000s. Spinnin' Around is one of the most iconic songs on this soundtrack. The group loves nothing more than Jesus and doing backflips. Oh yeah, and did they mention that they're having a lot of fun?
Well, being in Jump 5 it's a great experience. I mean, it's crazy at times, but it's a lot of fun. Well, Jump 5 is kind of like just plain fun, you know?
You know, it's just fun. So we just have a lot of fun with it. But it's so much fun, though. I wouldn't change it for the world.
I just think it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of hard work, actually. But it's still really fun. It's so much fun.
I think it's more fun.
A lot of fun to hang around with.
Still have fun.
And then the other Christian song on this soundtrack is Live in Stereo by the Newsboys. And then another 10% of our soundtrack is going to be hip hop and rap. One of the rap songs on here is a song called Here We Go by Grits. This song is just your classic bar-for-bar, family-friendly rap song with lyrics like rhymes so meaty like jambalaya. The other rap song, of course, is our boy Lil Romeo rapping the song Play Like Us. And then to round out the decorations on the cake, we have 5% in dance electronic and then 5% in ska. The one dance electronic song is called Where's Your Head At by Basement Jaxx, where they really want to know where your head's at. And finally, we just have a tiny little bit of ska. The song in question is Sell Out by Real Big Fish, a ska punk song about selling out to the label.
I just don't believe it. Sell out with me, oh yeah, sell out with me tonight. The record companies only give me lots of money and everything's gonna be alright.
Now this song defined Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure for me as a kid, and it's what I remember when I think about this game so many years later. Now that we know what the song's gonna sound like, I want to know how fast it needs to be. Most of the songs are in the 120 to 130 beats per minute range, and the median is 125, so that's what we're gonna go with. And finally, the lyrics. After analyzing all of the lyrics on each song, I compiled a list of the most common themes that show up on the soundtrack. One theme that shows up on 3 different songs is the idea of wanting this feeling to last forever. An example is on the song Somewhere on Fullerton, where they say, I want this feeling to stay with me forever. And Grow Up by Simple Plan, a song about not wanting to grow up, is a great example of the vibe we're going for.
I don't wanna be told to grow up, and I don't wanna change, I just wanna have fun.
Another theme that was common on this soundtrack is sort of that meta lyric where they talk about how well they're doing on the song and, you know, hyping themselves up. This is in 3 different songs as well. For example, in Spinnin' Around by Jump 5, they say, J5 in the house. You know, simple yet effective. And then finally, we have 3 songs talking about Jesus. Oh my gosh. No, it's okay. We can work with this. I know what you're thinking. I thought there were only 2 songs on the soundtrack that talk about Jesus at all. And you're right. In Live in Stereo by Newsboys, they sing, Walk by faith, you appear. I want to live in stereo. I can't get there from here without a God-directed go. Man, I love skating. And then, of course, the second song is Spinnin' Around by Jump 5. But then we actually have a third song. The rap song, Here We Go by Grits, actually says, I was raised in the womb, groomed by Christ. So technically, I am contractually obligated to count that. And as a result, Jesus does need to make at least 1 appearance on our track. We still got a few more themes we're going to throw in there. 2 songs feature some sort of inspirational message saying something along the lines of, we can get through this, we've got this. 2 more songs reminisce about missing the past and the way things used to be. And finally, we have on one song, it says, it's asking, where's your head at? Oh! Guys, I really think this is gonna work. I'm gonna go grab the closest studio musician I can find and record a hit song. my friends were scraping knees and doing kickflips all the time. I'm alright. 5 years later, old and faded. Oh, I really miss it. Did I die? What a sign. But I know there's something for me in the afterlife. Get me in the park before I die. I'm skating with Jesus. I'm killing this track. I'm popping a wheelie. I'm missing the past. Please buy a Nokia, some medium fries. 'Cause I can skate all day in heaven when I finally die. When I finally die. When I finally die. So, what did you think, man? You like? Do you like the song? Brandon. Hey. Well, if you're listening to this, Disney, you know who to call if you need a new song for your soundtrack. And if anyone else is listening to this, thank you for watching. I really appreciate all the people commenting nice things on my videos, so please keep doing that. Please subscribe if you like this video, and come back next Monday if you want to see another one. I don't really have a recommendation this week for a game that relates to the amazing mess that Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure is, so I'm just going to recommend one of my favorites, Slay the Spire. I've never been big into deck building games, but Slay the Spire is a game that has sucked me in for hours and hours, and I could never put it down. The game is a roguelike, so whenever you die, you have to completely start over, and no matter how many times I died over and over again, I just always started again right away. And I know why you're still sitting there, you little punk. You want to know who the Gamer of the Week is. And I'm very proud to announce that this week's Gamer of the Week is that poor skate shop worker that Darth Maul force chokes in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. I'm skating with Jesus, I'm killing